Welcome. You have successfully checked into your abundance timeline.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Rich Girl Podcast. So today I have a very special guest. Cindy Martel is on the podcast today. She is not only one of my best friends, she is actually the chapter president and of Toronto North. She is the chapter president of Toronto North inside our Rich Girl Network, which is our largest growing manifestation community for women. And so Cindy was going through our Rich Girl certification. So she has to go through a Rich Girl certification. And when she was doing that, she called me and she was like, dude, I just had this aha moment. So she was going through the portion she was going through was money blocks and generational wealth. And she had this huge aha moment around a block, her family, and all this stuff. And I was just like, she told me everything. And I was like, okay, next week, when I'm back from vacation, we need to do a podcast together. You need to share what your aha moment was for everyone else, because everyone else probably has some sort of aha moment that is similar to hers. And this might answer like a lot of things for you. When you hear what she's talking about, you're like, wait, that happens to me. That happened to me, and how you can work around it. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see us. Hi, Cindy. And if you're listening, say hi. 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 Hi.
Hi. Hi. Hi.
Hi. Okay. So tell me, if you can remember as much as you can. I mean, yeah. I know it's your aha moment, but tell me the aha moment that everyone needs to hear that you heard when you were going through the curriculum that you are teaching other women around the world as well.
Yes. So I'm going to set it up a little bit. You know, it's late at night. My daughter is supposed to be sleeping, probably not sleeping. It's the summer. And I said, okay, let me go through this particular chapter again, because I believe that in order to be able to teach others, to connect with others, you have to really have a deep understanding of your own self, your own shenanigans, or your own, wounds and hurt and all of that. So I've been going through this certification over and over again because it's just so good. And so this particular section, I'm going through it again, and it's you teaching. And so I'm listening, and then it just came to me. We're talking about generational wounds. And so things that our mothers or grandmothers or great grandmothers, or even, as far back as we can, there must be a story. We just never thought of asking them. Mm-hmm. And how their relationship with money was, and therefore how, without even knowing, it's not because they hate us, it's not because they're jealous of us, but they transfer their own fear, their own, reservations, their own whatever about money. And so I was thinking about that, and I was like, well, wait a minute. So, and I was raised by my grandmother. My grandmother was born in 1928, very religious person. She believed in her God and loved her God until the end. And, she was a very giving person, a very generous person, and I'm trying to think. And then I just remembered, boom, like appeared. So this is what it means, you ladies that are watching today. If you allow yourself the space to let your brain think, just allow yourself the space, the calmness, the openness. You're not doing it with judgment. I wasn't doing this because I needed to find out who's guilty, who's responsible for this money block, what's going on. No, it was about, let me try to understand. And I remembered that so many times growing up, even when I was very young, I don't know kids now, because kids now have tablets and these things. But when we grew up, we would make up stories, right? So we would change our name. I'm a nurse. I'm a whatever. And, our friends were something else. And we would just create this reality. We would play it out all day and then go for dinner and come back until the lights the street lights came on. So I would always be the one that was rich.
Mm-hmm.
And I always said, I know it. I know that I'm born to be rich. I am born to be rich. So I would play these roles with my friends, and my friends never questioned it. My friends were not like, "Wow, what are you talking about?" Because we were just creating this reality that we were playing
And you were
throughout
kids.
the day. We're kids, so we're just, sky's the limit. But I would always come back and say, I know I'm meant to be rich. And I remember the woman in my family telling me, reminding me that that's not our family story. We're not rich.
Mm-hmm.
We're not poor,
Mm-hmm.
but we're not rich. So don't try to want more than you want. Just be content with what you have. This is, God doesn't want you to have too much. He just wants you to have enough, you know?
Right.
And you better give more than you receive, because that's just the right thing to do. And every time I would say, I feel it. I'm meant to be rich. And what am I going to do with my money? And, I would come up with, a foundation that I would, create, and I would fund with my own personal money. And I would go to, I remember actually, do you remember when Oprah went to Africa and she built that school for the girls?
Yeah.
Remember that story? I remember. So I'm an adult and I'm telling my family, you know what? I would love, this is a dream of mine. I would love to just call Oprah, because why not? Why can I not just call Oprah? Call Oprah and say, Oprah, I know you don't need my money, but I have the gift of having enough money, of having more than enough money. I'm rich, so I can give you my time. I would like to come and help whatever you're doing in Africa, whatever you're doing. So do you need me to build a roof? Do you need me to sit down and teach French to these kids? Do you need, what do you need me to do? And I remember telling this to my family. And I remember my grandmother saying, oh, that would be lovely, but that's just not what we do. You could come and teach French to somebody else. Maybe, you live in Toronto, so you could teach French in Toronto. And so it was never completely shutting down, but it was, no, but you can't do it at that scale. So just do it at this scale over here. My mother, who, until the end, my mother would have been considered in society what we call poor. She was on disability. She was, very ill for the past 10 years before she passed away, for the last 10 years before she passed away. But one thing she always did is she paid her rent on time. She paid her little bills on time, and she died with no debts. So some would say that in our world, that's kind of rich. But she would say these things to me. She would say, yeah, Cindy, yeah, that would be great. That would be great if you were rich. Would you buy me a house if you were rich? Yes, yeah. Too bad that's not what we do here. There's sayings in the family that have been put in, literally programmed, because it's been repeated for so long, and we don't know, ladies. If you get your own chapter and you go through the certification, the stuff you're going to learn about the science behind manifestation is insanity. The programming just happens and we don't even know, and they don't know that they're doing it. They don't want to do that. They don't know. It's nobody's fault. That's just, they're repeating what they've heard, what they've seen. Their reality brought them the evidence that solidified the programming that they were given as a child. So for them, they don't mean any harm when they say, well, we were born for a small bread. So I'm French. I know it's not a saying in English, but in French we have a saying that, if you're born for a small bread, you're born for just ordinary. You're born just for the minimum. You're not gonna suffer. You're not gonna starve, but just a little bread. And not the whole grain bread, the white bread. So sayings like that On est né pour un petit pain. That's in French. We're born for small bread. Something that I hear all the time in my family. So our last name is Martel.
Mhm.
And they do this, I don't know why they do that. It's the weirdest thing. But the word mortel and martel is very close. One is my name, the other one is deadly. So they say that debt is not deadly, but it's martel.
Oh dear.
So if you're having a conversation and you're saying, I have this credit card, it's maxed out, I'm really stressed out about it, it's really important for me to pay on time, to pay it off once and for all, and blah, blah, blah. The answer you get is, don't worry about it, because, debt is not deadly, it's martel. It's not mortel, it's martel. And that is supposed to just shut it down. Those are the beliefs that my family have, and I love them. I love them. Maybe they'll watch this, maybe not. Most of them won't understand. Well, one will. So if you're watching, please know I love you. Now you know why you're wooden too. So this aha moment of me, and I wasn't just saying it, I was really feeling it. I'm still feeling it. Now, if I ever, for whatever reason, bring it up and say it, I'm going to catch the reply that I'm getting, and I'm going to filter that through a different filter. I have to understand that whatever anybody throws at us, whether it's family, whether it's, somebody at church that you really care for, somebody, it doesn't matter, in your community, whoever gives you a response that doesn't feel like it's connecting with the statement that you made, filter it out. We can't make people say what we would like for them to say.
Right.
We can't, but we can
only
filter
control
what they say. That's right.
Yeah,
So
we can only respond. We can only we can only control our response and what they say to us. So when they say, "Well, you were just made for little bread," or, "Well, no, Cindy, that's not true. Like, we're not rich." Well, then your response is, "Well, I actually was made for more," or, "I am going to be rich," or, "I'm on my way to be rich." Like, you can only control your responses. And most people don't know how to control those responses because they were raised in the pattern of what they were raised in. And then what happens is, then if you're raised in that pattern because your parents were raised in that pattern, you don't know any better. And
That's
so
right.
what happens? You then raised your own children in that pattern, and it becomes generational over and over and over. And so what we are trying to do, the movement that is my mission, is to break that generational wealth wounds.
That's
My
right.
grandfather on my one side, my one grandfather, my father is the same way as my grandfather was, because that's how he grew up. So guess what he did? He did what he was taught from my grandfather to my mom, because that's what he was taught. And then if I had been the same and I was like, okay, I'll just be like my mom or my father, and then I teach that to my kids, it's just going to keep going and going and going. And then that's just how everyone lives this poor, mediocre life, because you don't understand and you don't get that there's this abundant life that you're able to live, and you're able to create it.
That's right.
Like, you're able to create it. And so that's why I want people to understand that there are other choices, and that you just need to learn how to break that pattern. So when my kids say to me now, who are 8 and 10, and are they 8 and 10? No, they're 10 and 12. 8 and 10.
I wasn't going to say it, but I was like, I think we're a little bit behind.
They're 10 and 12, and they have been saying to me for years, "Oh, when I grew up, I'm going to live in a big mansion. I'm going to drive a Lamborghini. I'm going to have millions of dollars and all that." And I'm like, yeah, I can't wait. Like, I can't wait. They did
Yeah,
their
you are.
vision board. The last time they updated their vision board was like maybe two, I don't know, 2 years ago or so. One of them has this huge mansion that he found on Google with, we put himself standing in front of the mansion, right? Like I put
Yeah,
him in,
yeah.
then he had the Lamborghini and he had the cars. What am I supposed to say? Well, okay, what would most people say? Good luck, good luck, or yeah, that's just not who we are.
That's
We
a nice
don't,
dream. That's a
yeah,
nice
yeah,
dream.
it's a good dream.
Yeah.
I've broken that patterning of what I have been taught. And I'm like, dude, I hope you do,
That's
like,
right.
I hope you do. One wants to be a professional soccer player. No idea. Like, no idea. You never know. He could be, right?
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
literally talked to him about that and being like, well, like, man. So when you said, oh, I had this big aha moment, and it was how you were always, like you're feeling rich, that you're born to be rich, and your family's like, but that's not who we are, right? That's not who we are. And you were like, know what you know now, but you were like, what? That was it. That was it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And
Yeah.
this is exactly the kind of stuff that we're going to be teaching in the community. And there's no wounds. This is how I feel now. I feel like there's no money conversation that we cannot have. There's no taboo. There's no judgment. There's none of that. You come as you are. You come with your beautiful self, broken or not, and we figure it out. We figure things out. And we figure things out one thing at a time. One thing at a time. Maybe it's one particular teaching one month that's going to resonate with her, and she'll want to do some one-on-one coaching and say, I really want to dive deep with this. Like, this here is speaking to me. We can do that. Maybe it's going to be a different conversation. Maybe it's people in the chapter that, through us will get to know each other, and something will change. They will understand something about themselves that's been holding them back, that's been blocking them. And then we fix that, and sky's the limit. Sky is literally the limit.
Yeah, it so is. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited for all the women that are joining your chapter, that get to be mentored under you. Cindy, unfortunately and fortunately, is also a grief coach, counselor, whatever you want to call it. But she helps you and guides you through grief. And you know what I mean when I say, unfortunately, like,
Yes.
Cindy's been through an immense amount of grief. But she was through that. And I believe that you've been through that. So now you can help others through that. Right. So she also helps and coaches one-on-one women with that as well. So being in Cindy's chapter, you get Cindy and you get everything else.
Everything else.
Yeah. So anyways, I just wanted to bring you on real quick, and 18 minutes quick. And I just wanted you to share that little bit of a story, that little bit of a tidbit, an aha moment, because I want other women to be like, wait, now that I think about it, my dad was like this, or my mom was like this, or my grandparents did this as well. And then I want you to just pause and think, okay, am I the way that I am now with money beliefs and spending and stuff like that? Am I the way that I am because that's what I believed, because that's what I was taught, which probably is going to be, for most people, will be a yes. And if that is, then congratulations. You've just been given the gift that that you are now starting today. You're able to break that pattern, and you're able to now, even if you don't have kids, you're able to now break that pattern for yourself. And now you have the choice to live your life the way that you want to live, especially implementing, our Rich Girl Habit methodology. That literally is 12 Rich Girl Habits on how to create your Rich Girl life. rich in relationships, rich in health, rich in wealth, rich in money, all of that stuff. So yay. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing that story. And I believe that you will have lots of stories to share.
There's always stories.
Yeah, inside the community. And I thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Karyn.
You're welcome. So listen, if you want to be mentored by Cindy, inside or underneath here in the show notes will be Cindy's direct link to join her chapter, her Rich Girl Network, and be personally mentored by her. So we will leave that in the show notes and get in there, and we'll see you in there. Okay,
amazing.
Bye. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.